Well, here we are. We are live, and now we are. I tell you what, I am hoping that you guys are going to have an entertaining show tonight because we have a very, very interesting topic that I cannot wait to talk about. I just cannot wait. And of course, it is Friday. So listen, if you're under stress, if you just had one of those days, you're like, or weeks, you're like, man, oh, you know what? Today, I just forget about all that stress. Forget about all that stress. Just forget about it. And thank you very much. And forget about all that stress. Today, we're going to be entertaining. We're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about, I think, one of the most. I love this topic. I do. I love this topic. I'm so passionate about it. Believe it or not, I'm actually very passionate about this, and I hope that you enjoy as much as I do. And tonight, we're going to talk about aliens and alien abductions. And it's going to be very, very, very interesting. However, before we do, I want to do a few house cleaning kind of a little post and notes and pass things around to all you guys. If you love the paranormal as much as I do, and I love the paranormal, I truly do, then I personally invite you to please consider going to this website. Guys, they have some amazing shows there. I mean, it truly is. And of course, the Sacred Division airs on this platform as well. And I'm just, and as a matter of fact, this company, I'm so honored to be a part of it. So I invite you to go to this website. It's called KG, which is a giraffe. And moderators, if you do me a favor, if you could type it in the chat on TikTok, I would so appreciate that so very much. But it's www.kg as in giraffe, RAD as in dog, B as in basketball. So kgradb.com. Okay, so moderators, if you could do that, please do that for me. That way, then I don't have to push buttons and accidentally disconnect the show, because I probably would. But again, kgradb.com. And I want you to go to this site. Man, these are some amazing sites. These are some amazing shows there. Amazing shows. And I really do love it. Do we have any moderators in the TikTok right now? TikTok. If you can, we'll talk about possession. We'll talk about demons. I promise you, we're going to get to that. But I just want to make sure that we have some moderators. Do we not have moderators? Okay, good. So if one of the moderators, can you please put in that website? It's kgradb as in boy.com. kgradb.com. I love this group because they produce these shows, and we're on their platform, and I truly am wonderful. And Bill is just a great producer. He works behind the scenes, and he's a good guy too. Just don't tell him I said that. But no, he's a good guy, and so is the site. They have some amazing shows. I mean, really, really amazing shows. And take a look at it now. When you subscribe, make sure you put Bishop as the promo code, because you're going to get 30% off. It's already very reasonable. It's very, very reasonable, guys. So if you're like me, sometimes if you do get free time, you're like, man, I want to watch a show today. And you're thinking, well, there's nothing really on TV. It's the same old. But this site is great, kgradb.com. And make sure you put Bishop as the promo code. Okay, don't forget that. All right, so there we go, and I want to make sure you do that. Also, BishopJamesLong.com, BishopJamesLong, LONG.com. Yep, we do have, finally, we have the Benedictine bracelets. They are in. There's the Benedictine bracelet here. I didn't buy a whole big bunch of them because it is expensive for overseas shipping and all that stuff, especially now. Everything is so expensive. So if you want your Benedictine bracelet, Saint Benedict is a patron saint for exorcists. So we again, Go to bishopjameslong.com, click on the store link, and you'll see it right there. So make sure you pick yours up today. Again, I apologize. I don't have a whole massive selection. I wish I did, but I'm not a super, store, but I do the best I can. So again, bishopjameslong.com, click on the store link. And thank you, Frank. Frank says, I love my Benedictine bracelet. So glad I got one before you ran out. It never leaves your wrist unless I take a shot. Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm glad that you like it. That's really great. So yeah. Arlene said free time. What does that mean? Isn't that the truth? So yep. Oh, good, Vicky. You're going to get yours tomorrow. That's great. Yeah, I ship it immediately. I don't play it. Once I get the order, I ship it as fast as I can, and I take care of the orders personally. By the way, you'll notice that on the package, if you look on the back of the package, my initials, BL, is right there. It's stamped. And that means that I personally am the one who put the items in there, double checking everything. So, but I'm the one who does it. I don't have a staff. I am the staff. And so I make sure that it gets shipped immediately. Now, of course, if you buy yours today, I'll mail it out on Monday. Okay. So anyway, there it is. Well, hello there, Daniel, and hello to all you guys. Welcome, and I appreciate all you guys being here. I truly do. But again, don't forget, bishopjameslong.com. Click on the store link. By the way, you can also make a donation to the ministry there. Please remember that, as you all know, I do this ministry 100% for free. And I've been doing it for 20 years. I have never charged one penny. Many people that I help are struggling, like everybody else is. And I feel that it is immoral to charge people when they have activity in their home. They're already stressed and they're already afraid. And then you have clergy taking advantage of that by saying, well, I'll charge $5,000. Some people are so desperate, truly so desperate, that they would do anything in the world just to get clergy there to help. And I just have a zero tolerance for taking. I just don't like taking it. I don't believe in taking advantage of people. I think it's wrong. I think it's immoral on any level. And so I do it for free. It's not easy. It's not. It would be a heck of a lot easier if I did charge, because then I would never have to do this. But it's just wrong. And please understand that your donation helps me get to that location, because sometimes, when you have to rent a car and then you have to get a hotel room, and if I'm there for 4 or 5 days, you're easily at $1,500, very easily, by the time you get the car, the rent a car, their insurance, because I don't want to use mine, and then you get the $100 a night hotel, and that's depending on the city. If you're not going to get a $100 night in California or Chicago or New York, but you get the point. So anyway, it's 100%. This is how I do this. So anyway, I appreciate all of you guys donating and helping me get to people's homes, because I can't do it without your help. I can't. I didn't. Well, thank you very much, Lisa. I didn't used to ask for donations. I used to do this. I only started this about 5 years ago. But I was putting myself in financial suicide. I was trying to get to people's home and I thought, I got to stop this. I got to stop it. So this is why I have the store, and this is why when people donate, this is how I am able to help. Okay. You know what? I have noticed. There we go. That's better. I just noticed that on my Spreaker that this was that had a built-in microphone. But anyway, that's the business part of it. Now, one more thing. Don't forget, we have night prayer Monday through Friday. It's all online. Please feel free to visit it. Spreaker, Spreaker, Spreaker.com/show/night prayer. Night prayer is all one word. So it's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Feel free to stop by, and we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. My website is bishopjameslong.com, bishopjameslong.com. And the night prayer is Spreaker.com/show/night /night prayer. Pretty simple. Okay. Night prayer, all one word. All right. So there we are. Now, please also on the chat, we do not mention demonic names. We just simply don't do it. That is a form of summoning. And I don't believe, obviously, that that's a smart move. So if you are on TikTok or anywhere, and if you start asking about demon names, specific demon names, you'll get a warning. And then that's it. You'll be banned. And it's not because we're being mean. It's because we just don't go down that route. There are some things you should not do. And a lot of people just think that there are no consequences for doing that, and there are. So please don't mention demonic names. I will never mention demonic name over the air. You'll never hear it out of my mouth. Never. And also, just be nice. Don't be vulgar. Pretty simple. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Lucy. Lucy says, Bishop, you look very good. Well, thank you very much, Lucy. I took a shower today. I did. I tell you what. Well, I'm in Kentucky, so you can't expect much, right? I'm just saying. Hey, I'm from Kentucky, so I'm allowed to make those jokes. Like I told you, like I've said a million times, in Kentucky, we go to family reunions to meet our future wives and husbands. A true story. Truth. If I had a drum. Okay. So anyway, there we go. Today, we're going to talk about aliens and alien abduction. And then at the second hour, I'll get to your questions. We'll talk about demons, possession. So that's how we're going to rock and roll on the show tonight. Now, Miss Wilma is watching tonight. Miss Wilma is watching on YouTube. And Miss Wilma is a good friend of mine. She's family. She's family to me. And that's exactly what she is. She's 67 years old and she rocks and rolls. Let me tell you something. When Miss Wilma can play PS4. You heard me right, folks. PS4. And she's talked about it before. She has multiple sclerosis. And so I got her a PS4 because it helps her with her hand coordination, keeps her mind strong, and it gives her something to do. So we jump on that PS4 and we play games. And there's a Western game called Red Dead Redemption 2. I got to tell you something. That's a great video. But it's always funny. It's always funny when we're, riding down the road on our horses, and then I hear a character behind me scream out. And I'm thinking, well, one of a couple things have happened. Either one, Miss Wilma has face planted into a tree, or she has decided to see if her horse can fly, and she has jumped right off the cliff. It's Pegasus. It's one or the other. It's one of, or she has ran into another horse or a horse and carriage. It's one of the things. And again, Wilma has pretty good hand coordination. She's pretty good. But for some reason, she just loves to crash into things. She just, whoa. But anyway, she's listening in right now, but she's going to stop momentarily. Hey, Wilma, they're coming for you. See, right now she's turned it off. She's turned the YouTube off. I already know. But Wilma, you can call that 410 number if you want to, and let me know that you how scared you were. So you can do that if you would like. She knows the number. Aliens. Alien abductions. I'm really. Oh, what? Oh, let's see. Well, hello. Oh, well, I guess she hung up. Hold on. She's trying to call, and I'm trying to call her. Hello, Wilmer. Well, we're doing fine. Obviously, you must have heard me just talking about Miss Wilmer. Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, I tell you what, it's not my fault that them horses wants to go in the tree or in the water. It's really not my fault that they want to do all that,
So.
In the car, they want to go in the water or wind up in the tree or. And remember that one time I was driving and the car went up on a wall? It's just standing up on the wall. Like, wow, how'd I do that? I don't know. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great night.
Okay. Well. Yes. Wilma's referring to a game. Now we don't like the cursing and all that other stuff. Well, we wish they would stop doing that. But the game Grand Theft Auto 5 is what she's referring to, and Wilma has a flying car on that game. And somehow, when Wilma plays Grand Theft Auto 5 on a flying car, she ends up in a tree.
I got a joke.
Oh, please. We would love to hear the joke. Oh, we
What
just.
did one turtle say to the other turtle?
Oh, boy.
Slow down. I can't hardly keep up. You're going too fast. Turtles do go fast,
I thought you were going to tell us a joke.
That was a joke. How rude.
Oh, that was the joke, everybody. That was the joke. Well, that was a great joke, and we appreciate you telling it to us.
Thank you very much. I'll come back anytime you want me to.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
By the way,
It's going to be a scary night.
Joshua says, God bless Wilmar. Well, we call her Wilmer. Her name is Wilma. But now, Wilma, what do you think, since I have you on the line, what do you think about aliens and aliens taking people up to their spaceship? Do you believe that, or do you think that's just cuckoo?
I don't know, because something's weird going on at my house, and I can't explain it.
Okay.
I mean, there's this light that comes into my house at night. Not every night, maybe about, I don't know, maybe one every 2 weeks or so.
Okay, hold on. Wait a second. Now you got to understand. Okay, remember, folks, I've known Wilmer for 25 years, so we're like I said, we're family. So a long time ago, Wilma and I used to do a show together. And but her health and that kind of thing. But maybe one day I can convince her to get on camera with us. And I think we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that. So, but now I really want you to tell everybody what's going on now. Wilma is scared of her own shadow. Okay, so I want to give you guys a heads up on that. But there is something going on in her home, and this kind of goes hand in hand with what we're going to be talking about tonight. So can you tell everybody what's happening in your home?
Well, you was talking about me scared of my own shadow. Now, that's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
One night it was dark, and of course you had to turn the lights on going into the rooms. So I was heading to the bathroom, and I turned the light on. And it was kind of dark, in my bathroom, because I ain't got to the light there yet. And I saw I have a long mirror, and I saw myself in the mirror. That jumped. I thought somebody's in the bathroom. I thought, oh, never mind, it's me.
Well, thank you for that wonderful story. But what about the other story?
Okay, I'll be getting ready to go to bed, and I turned out the lights, of course, and I, lay down, and all of a sudden, I maybe about 10, 15 minutes, I'm laying there. I see this. First I saw it, and I thought it was, it's like a car coming in the driveway.
Right.
But it wasn't. It's literally, I'll tell you how to explain it. You turn it. Everybody might want to do this if you want to. It's up to you. But when you turn the light out in the dark room and you take a flashlight and you go real slow, not your body, but just move that flashlight real slow. Like, let's go up in the ceiling, or let's go to the left, let's go to the right. It's not moving fast, just like it's literally like somebody is in my living room and I can see this light, because it's like it's shining really bright, and it's focusing on my bedroom wall, because I can see the light on the bedroom wall. And I thought, that's not a car coming in the driveway. that is the light, and I can't figure it out. So this has actually happened to me roughly 6 or 7 times, maybe within 2-3 months, 2.5 months, something like that. But it's like, what is it? And at first I thought a burglar had broke in. Somebody broke in my house, because I thought, oh my gosh, somebody's in the living room. They're looking around, flashlight. Yeah. Well, I immediately get up, turn my light on, and I come in the living room, nothing. The doors are locked. There's nothing. And I thought, what? So then a couple days, whatever, down the road, I'm laying there in the bed, and there it is again. And I'm like, okay.
Now let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. When you are in the bed, are you drowsy? Are you about to sleep? Or are you're awake?
I'm awake.
Okay.
So, I wear glasses, and I took my glasses off.
Okay.
And I turned out the light. And as soon as I'm laying there with my, head on a pillow, of course, put my sheet stuff on me. And I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden, I'm looking at this wall, on my bedroom wall, and I see this light. And I'm thinking, what is that? I mean, it's literally just real slow, like somebody's walking in your house with a flashlight, just slow, not real fast. It's what it really looks like. And there I'm sitting here thinking, okay, just don't move, don't make a noise. Maybe they take what they want and go away. But then I'm like, okay, I can't handle this. So I get up and grab my glasses, turn the light on, and I come in the living room, nothing. And I'm like, I was telling my sister about it. She's like, well, I hope that don't happen one night I stay there at your house. I don't want to see it. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. I demonstrated for her. I said, go in there and sit on the bed. And I turned out all the lights, and I'm sitting here in the living room with my flashlight in my hand. And I said, Lynn, just look straight ahead and look at that wall, like you're laying down. So she does that. And I'm taking my flashlight, and I'm going through the living room, and she's like, Wilma, what is that? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's not actually a friend of mine. It's about a couple months after I first did it. My friend's like, she saw it in her kitchen.
So let me ask you: does it come? Is there like a smell with this, or just strictly it just looks like a flashlight? Someone
It just looks like somebody walking around in the dark with a flashlight looking around.
So let me ask you: for those of you, well, no, it's actually inside. Daniel was asking a good question. Could someone be stalking her home at night? Well, that is a good question. Do you think that it could be someone outside? But you have curtains. So
I have blinds, and then I have my curtains closed.
Yeah.
And so I understand that's a good thought too. I thought of that. But then I think, wait a minute, that's right in the living. I mean, it goes up to on the ceiling. I mean, it shines on the ceiling. It's shining on the floor. It's just slowly moving around. And like I was seeing my friend, she's coming out of her bathroom, and she called me next day. She said, Woman, what kind of light was you seeing? And I was telling her, and she's like, that happened to me. I thought somebody was in my kitchen. I'm like, oh my stars. So she's like, yeah, it happened to her one time, but it's freaking me out. I can't handle scary stuff. I wish that I loved scary movies, because, we could,
someone Gracious M is asking, is there any way that you could set up a camera inside? But let me ask you, now of course you have a camera outside, but how often does this occur?
Well, let's see. What is day? Friday. I'm trying to think what day. One day last week.
Wow.
I'm scared to say because I don't want to be lying.
Right.
I can't remember what day. It's one day last week.
Okay.
And but it scares me to death when I do see it, because I'm thinking, what is, and then you talk about aliens. I'm like, you think maybe one of them are after me?
Well,
I mean,
see, here's what you're okay. Now, do you want me to answer that question, or do you not want me to answer that question? Because we're live on the show. So,
you're really
well, we're live on the show. So either.
I know we're live.
So do you want me to answer, or do you not want me to answer?
Okay. What do you think?
What you are describing is exactly what other people have described when they have seen and have allegedly been abducted by aliens. What you are describing is exactly what happens when people who have said, Willie Windwalker Gibson, he's a shaman, he's a great friend of mine, love him to death. And he talks about how he and his wife see these lights and his even experience of being abducted, being taken by these aliens onto the aircraft. So that when I'm talking about abduction, I'm talking about where the aliens actually take you onto their aircraft. So what you're describing is exactly what other people describe. They see this light, like someone's walking around. Sometimes it's a very bright light. Sometimes it's not an orb. So folks will understand it's not an orb is a round little thing, sphere. And a lot of people think that spirits are, the orbs are, the white light. No, this is not what she's seeing. She's referring to someone actually having a flashlight moving around in her home. So therefore, a lot of people are describing what you're describing, and in fact, they say it's aliens.
Okay. Well, maybe once they get to know me, they'll turn me loose.
Yeah, because once you start,
I don't want this person. Let's put her back.
Once you start talking to them,
driving me crazy.
Yes,
too much.
yeah.
Take her back.
Once you start talking, that's right. They'll say, "Oh dear Lord, well, we got to put her right back in her bed." All right, well, I'm gonna jump on here and continue to do this show. So, but thank you for calling.
You're welcome, and I hope everybody has a great night. Please stay safe, and God bless.
Are you going to turn off YouTube?
No, I'm still going to. I'm going to still. For how long? But I'll still have it doing.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you later.
All right. Night, everybody.
All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, that's Miss Wilma. She is having that issue in her home, and it is scaring her. And I understand. So what she's referring to is what people have said occurs to them when they see these grays, the aliens, and then they claim that they are abducted. Now, people ask me all the time, do I believe if aliens are demons? Well, I don't. I don't believe that they are demons. Now, people will also say that aliens are the Nephilim, offspring of angels and women. That's incorrect. Acts makes it very clear. So that the whole Nephilim, guys, is incorrect. So if you're ever watching television or YouTube and they start talking about the Nephilim and that they're offspring of angels and women and all this other stuff, folks, that is just absolutely 1,000,000% incorrect. And I'll tell you why. We already know it's incorrect. Because Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, it answers the question right there for you. It tells you. Because the Nephilim, it says in Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, that the Nephilim existed before and after these fallen angels have taken women and had relations with them. So Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 says, look, the Nephilim existed before that event. So therefore, they can't be offspring of angels and women. They just can't, because Genesis says they can't. Furthermore, don't forget also that Paul makes it abundantly clear that the Nephilim were not the offspring of angels and women. As a matter of fact, and if you see 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4, it's very clear. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4 says, and he says, don't argue over endless genealogies and foolish myths like the Nephilim. Now, keep in mind, this is a direct reference to the book of Enoch, because Enoch has a long genealogy of angels, to Satan, because the book of Enoch puts the blame of sin on demons and not our free will. So therefore, even Paul says this whole idea of the Nephilim, that they're the offspring of angels and women, no, they are not. And Paul answers that question. So does Genesis. The reason is the book of Enoch talks about these Nephilims as being offspring of angels and women, and then some people saying, and even going further and saying, well, they're demons, or they're aliens, is because that comes from actually the 3rd century BC and the 2nd century BC, because the people in the culture, they misinterpreted Nephilim, and it was a cultural belief, and that was incorporated into the book of Enoch. So many people believe that Nephilim were giant offsprings of angels and women, but again, Paul says no, they were not. So therefore, that's your answer. Close the book on that. Hopefully you understand that's not. So I don't believe that aliens are in fact the offspring of angels and women. I just simply don't. Now, some people immediately want to say, well, no, there's no such thing as aliens. It doesn't exist. Well, let me just say this to you. And if you're going to refer to even the Roman Catholic Church, what did the Vatican say? So let's just say, what does the Vatican say about aliens? Well, it's very clear. The Vatican's chief astronomer, believe it or not, there is a chief astronomer in the Vatican, says that believing in aliens does not contradict faith in God. So Reverend Jose Gabriel Funes is the Jesuit director of the Vatican Observatory. And he said that the vastness of the universe means it is possible there could be other forms of life outside of Earth. Now, even intelligent ones. Now, in an interview published by the Vatican newspaper, Funes said that such a notion doesn't contradict our faith, our Christian faith, because aliens would still be God's creatures. And by the way, if you want to know the interview was headlined, "The Extraterrestrial is My Brother." Yep, there's the title of it. You can say yes or no to it. You can say that's stupid, whatever you want to say. I'm just passing along the information. So that's the interview. The Extraterrestrial is My Brother. And Funes said that the ruling out the existence of aliens, again, would be like putting limits on God's creative freedom. And by the way, here's what's very interesting. Pope Francis also said that he would baptize aliens if they were to come to Earth and request baptism. He said that in May of 2014. So a lot of people are like, what? Well, there you go. So there's a little information for you. It seems to me that there's something going on. I really believe this. And I guess that's why I really love the paranormal, because it's unexplained. And there are far too many people. There are way too many people that are reporting the same activity, and some even more. Now, I'm fully aware that there are other people that say, well, this is just it's a new phenomenon. It doesn't exist. It's people's imagination. Well, that's not true, actually. That's not true. And here's why. Some of you may not know this. Well, hopefully you don't. Maybe I'm educating you guys. Yeah, American said, Road Warrior, what if aliens would baptize him? Well, he's already baptized. So, but okay. So, by the way, if you think that this whole alien thing is a new thing, no, it's not. Nope. In 1440 BC, and actually in Lower Egypt, in ancient Egypt, there are reports. They reported fiery disc. And according to the disputed Ptolemy Papyrus, the scribes of the pharaoh, Thutmose III reported that fiery discs were encountering, floating over the skies. And again, you can argue over, you can say, well, who knows? But that's what he was reporting. Also in 218 BC, in Rome, as a matter of fact, they reported ships in the sky. Again, this is 218 BC. So Livy records a number of reports in the winter of this year, including Navium Spacium. It's a phantom ship has been gleaming in the sky in 76 BC. This was in Roman Empire. Sparks from a falling star. That could be a meteor. We could simply say, so Pliny the Elder, a spark fell from a star and grew. as it descended until it appeared to be the size of the moon. That's a problem. That's a problem. And then it ascended back up into the heavens and was transformed into a light. And this is from the Pliny the Elder. Folks, a meteorite or an asteroid does not grow in size when it's entering the Earth's atmosphere. It burns up and it becomes smaller. It does not get larger. So that we know. And it certainly doesn't go back up. That does not happen. So again, well, the fallen angels, no, I don't believe the aliens, I don't believe aliens descript the idea of fallen angels because, again, the whole point, there are many people who say that there are some aliens that have no desire to harm human beings. They just want to study us. They want to, so therefore that would completely contradict the nature of a fallen angel. The nature of a demonic is to harm us, is to cause extreme pain and suffering to us at every cost, at every level. So the idea that a demonic just wants to observe us, cause no harm at all, goes against their very nature. Because so logically and theologically speaking, that I would say no to that. But that's just my opinion. We all have different opinions, but as a theologian, as an exorcist for the church, I do not believe that aliens are fallen angels or fallen demons. I do not aliens are fallen angels. There we go. Now, by the way, 74 BC in the Roman Republic, again, flame-like tail was fallen from the sky. According to Plutarch, a Roman army command was about to begin battle when all of a sudden the sky burst asunder and a huge flame-like body was seen to fall between the two armies. In shape, it was like a wine jar, and in color, like molten silver. Again, could that have been a meteorite? In that case, it could have been. It's possible. There are so many reports that you just have to kind of think, no, there's something going on here. There's something going on. Even in the 16th and 17th centuries, we see in 1561 of the Roman Empire, again, residents of Nuremberg saw what they described as an aerial battle, followed by the appearance of a large black triangular object and then a large crash outside the city. Folks, that can't be fighter pilots. It's 1561. Okay, this is 1561. So again, think of that perspective. And these were several hundred witnesses saw this, and they observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that move erratically overhead. Again, it's one of those things you can't just dismiss. Now, in 1566, over Switzerland, a broadsheet published in 1566 depicted numerous spherical objects appearing out of the sun. The event is depicted on a 16th century woodcut by Samuel Coke, and there's another person as well. I could go down the list. I could do a show, an entire 2-hour show on just people reporting something in that sky from BC to today. I literally could spend 2 hours. That's how many reports are there. And I think we can't, I think to dismiss that would be a mistake. I truly believe that. I think there's something going on. There's something definitely going on. Yeah, there was a YouTube recently on the 1500 ones. It true is. Now, I will tell you, well, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you being here. And all of you guys, I appreciate all you guys being here. I did see something. As a matter of fact, I was so awestruck. I was so like, what in the world? Now look, I'm a space nerd, guys. I've said this before. I went to space camp in Huntsville, Alabama as a kid. There you go. That should pretty much tell you. I am a space nerd to the extreme level. Let me tell you this. One day, number one on my bucket list, Kennedy Space Center. I've got to get to Kennedy Space Center down in Florida. That's number one on my bucket list. That is my Disney World. I'm like a chubby kid in a candy store. I'm like, woo, I could spend a month without question. And hours just looking at a shuttle. I mean, really, I love space exploration, the history of space. Truly love it. I saw something in the sky. I wasn't the only one. And this was in Louisville, Kentucky. As a matter of fact, this made such an impact on me. I immediately went on the air. I was on a paranormal, very popular paranormal radio network, and I was on the air within 10 minutes. And we got to get on there. We got to talk about this. What I saw was a very bright object in the sky. It was moving unbelievably quick, but it was shooting out red sparks. And I thought I was going crazy. I was like, what in the heck? I mean, it was literally shooting out red sparks and very fast. And we're talking going this up. It wasn't just going this way. It was, doing this. It was just, and it was shooting at red sparks. But that wasn't all. There was also two helicopters that were chasing this thing. So I was absolutely convinced this had to be on the news or something. Well, of course, we got on the show, and then I even had some friends. I said, "Look in the sky, and they looked in the sky. Oh my God, we all saw this. We all saw this thing. This was really cool because it was about a year ago. I was flipping through the channels, and I landed on a network that's known for paranormal, and they were talking about an episode in which the Louisville Metro Police, the helicopters, were actually chasing an object in the sky. And they interviewed these police officers who were in these helicopters, and they described exactly what I was seeing. That was really cool. When I saw that, I thought, man, this is amazing. This is because they were describing it. Their helicopters were having a very difficult time keeping up with this thing. They described it as it wasn't a balloon or anything of this nature, because balloons don't spark out the red sparks. I don't know if it was in trouble. I don't know what happened, but I was not a plane. That the helicopter, the police officers, absolutely was not a plane. They described it as a sphere object, and they saw the sparks as well, but I don't know. But I know for a fact that what I saw in that sky, it was not a helicopter, because when it flew over me, it really flew. I could see it flew over me. There was no noise at all. And then it was chased by helicopters. I could hear the helicopters, but whatever that thing was above me, and I could clearly see it. It took off this way, and the helicopters were chasing it. I thought, man, what in the heck? Because I immediately dismissed it. Well, it couldn't be a ship that we know, because I would hear noise. I heard nothing. No noise. No engine noise, nothing. But I saw the sparks. Very, very cool. Very, 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 very cool. Am I the bishop from Father V room? I don't know what Father V room is, so I would assume no. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Someone asked a good question. This was at night, so I could clearly see everything. Well, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it. You find me very relaxing. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully, the topic doesn't stress you out too much, because sometimes, aliens does kind of scary people. Okay, Joe Fox is asking a question. Bishop, I have to ask you a question. Do you think aliens can be summoned? Now, keep in mind, folks, and Joe, and this is everybody, there's a lot of people who are asking questions, and I've got right now about 400 questions on my screen from YouTube, from Messenger, from Twitter, and then, of course, there's questions here. TikTok is scrolling so fast you can barely read sometimes of the questions, but it's kind of calmed down, which is good. So please understand, if I don't answer your question, it's not because I'm being rude or ignoring it. It's just because there's so many people asking questions. I'm kind of doing the best I can, plus doing the actual live show. Do I believe aliens can be summoned? I don't know, because I'm still on the fence with aliens. Do I believe logically that there are alien species in the universe? Absolutely. No question about it. No question. I've said this before. Now, I want you guys, imagine this. Let's hold on for the questions. Hold on. Imagine this. And I've said this before, but here's a little factoid for you. And again, I've said this before. For those of you who follow me, let me say it one more time, because it really is mind-blowing. Our solar system is very small. We're very small compared to other solar systems. If you jump in a rocket from Earth to Jupiter, right here in our solar system, if you travel 42,000 miles per hour, folks, I can't even fathom 42,000 miles per hour. 42,000. That's how fast rockets go. That's how fast. So we know this because we have had rockets obviously take satellites even way past our solar system. But if you travel at 42,000 miles per hour and you leave Earth, it would take you 10 years to get to Jupiter. Now, just let that sink in. Just let that fact sink in. You're in a rocket. You're trying to get to Jupiter. You take off. You're at 42,000 miles per hour. And just to get to Jupiter, it takes 10 years. We are small. In comparing to the universe, imagine, I don't know, the Pacific Ocean, whatever. Now you take a simple little sand, a tiny little pebble, and you drop that little pebble right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That little tiny bitty pebble represents our little tiny solar system compared to the universe, which is the ocean. There's no question, none at all, that I firmly, and there are billions of Milky Ways. There are other solar systems just like ours, billions of them, just like ours. So I definitely believe that there is life on other planets. I truly do. Here's what scares me. It takes 10 years for us to get from Earth to Jupiter at traveling at 42,000 miles per hour. That's mind-blowing right there. But so you take, again, 42,000 miles per hour, 10 years just to get to Jupiter. We're not talking about how long it takes to get out of our solar system or even to another Milky Way, for God's sakes. That's who knows? If there's alien life out there, which I believe there is, and they're traveling from their solar system to ours, they are able to bend time, and they are far more technologically advanced than we are. That's concerning. That's very concerning. Time, people sometimes don't understand time change or how you can bend time. So you have a wormhole. They call them wormholes. So on this little here, you have a solar system billions of light years away, and then you have ours. What they're able to do with the wormhole is to bend time, and then immediately it's a matter of minutes, hours to get to our solar system. If they are able to do that. They are so far advanced than we could ever even imagine. And that is definitely an issue. That is absolutely an issue. Yep. So yeah, when you think of like that, when you think of things of this nature, that's when you think, okay, there's something. This makes me a little nervous because again, they are so far advanced. Now, this is from the History Channel. For those of you who want to know where this comes from. It says here, in pop culture, the term UFO, or an unidentified flying objects, refers to a suspected alien spacecraft, although its definition encompasses any unexplained aerial phenomena. Now, UFO sightings have been reported throughout recorded history and in various parts of the world, raising questions about life on other planets, whether extraterrestrials have visited Earth. Now, they become a major subject. They really have. They became a major subject of interest and the inspiration behind numerous films and books following the development of the rocketry after World War II. Now, keep in mind, I've had the opportunity to meet Travis Walton and speak to him a couple times about his experience. Travis Walton was the individual from A Fire in the Sky, the movie based on a true story, his story. And it's pretty intense when he talks about it and his experience. It really is. It's very, very, I don't know. It's pretty intense. But it says here on the History Channel, flying saucer is the first well-known that we know in the United States. UFO sighting occurred in 1947. 1947, when businessman and pilot Kenneth Arnold claimed to see a group of 9 high-speed objects near Mount Rainier in Washington while flying his small plane. Arnold estimated the speed of the crescent-shaped objects as several thousand miles per hour and said that they moved like saucers skipping on water. Now, in the newspaper report that followed, it was mistakenly stated that the objects were saucer-shaped. And that's not what hints the term flying saucer. Now, keep in mind, there have been pilots large for flying 747s who have reported seeing these objects. Now, guys, pilots are very logical. They have to be very analytical. They're certainly trained. They're trained to remain calm in situations that are frightening. So pilots are the very analytical individuals. And they also know that if they report things like, here's a UFO, people think, oh boy, we got to check him out and make sure he's not kind of losing his marbles, because he could lose his job, he or she. They could lose their job reporting something of this. There have been pilots, there have been captains, there have been pilots who have reported seeing a saucer-shaped object that flies at a way in which no other aircraft they could possibly do. None. Could it be? And yes, could it be? Some people are asking, well, could it be a military? Yeah, of course it could be. But again, there's a military aircraft that they report. And they report like Langley Airfield, and they're reporting, are you guys experimenting with it? And they were, no, we're not. Now, of course, they could be lying, but the technology that these pilots are reporting, we just simply don't have. We don't have the technology. So, and hello to all you guys. Howdy, 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 howdy. No, these are UFO aliens. So, by the way, the Roswell incident, one of the most famous cases ever. It says here in the history that same year that Arnold saw the flying objects, rancher W.W. Mack Brazil came across a mysterious 200-yard long wreckage near an Army airfield in Roswell, New Mexico. Local papers reported it was the remains of a flying saucer. Now, the U.S. military issued a statement that's saying that it was just a weather balloon, though the newspaper photographs suggested otherwise. The flames of conspiracy were further fanned in the 1950s when dummies with latex skin and aluminum bones that looked eerily like aliens fell from the sky across New Mexico, were hurriedly picked up by the military vehicles. Now, to those who believed in the earlier Roswell sightings, this seemed like a government cover-up. But for the Air Force, these dummy drops were a way to test new ways for pilots to survive falls. 50 years later, the military issued a subsequent statement admitting that the Roswell wreckage was part of a Project Mogul, a top secret atomic espionage project. There are many times the sheriff and the individuals who saw this material described it as aluminum foil. But what he would say is you could crumble it up, but then it would flatten right back out. It would crumble up and flatten right back out. And he also, and he's on record for doing interviews, and he also reported that there were writings, really strange writings and symbols on these metals, these objects that he saw, that he certainly were not American. They were not English, should say. And that made him think that it looked, as he described, alien. His words, not mine. But I don't know. I mean, to me, you want. Again, you can be a naysayer. I understand that. Every one of us has. We all have our opinion on this, and some people are like, "No, there's no way aliens don't exist." I get it, but when you look at all this, there's too many people reporting, too many credible people that are reporting something. I know that I saw something. I don't know what it is or what it was, but I know I saw it. And I also know that the police, they reported, who were in the helicopters, they reported this object, and they absolutely said this was not an aircraft that they are aware of. Okay. Someone is asking, okay. I got to read this here. Excuse me for 1 second. We're talking about demons, right? We're not talking about demons, but or ghosts, but we're talking about aliens for right now. But I'll answer this question very quickly, because this is asked about a lot, very, very quickly. Again, we're kind of talking about aliens, but people are always asking me about ghosts, and there's no way that ghosts don't exist, that it's all demons. So that's not what Scripture says. That's not what Scripture says. And some of you are like, wait a minute, hold on. You need to explain yourself, Bishop. I will. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again very quickly. Remember, Scripture makes it very, very clear in Matthew chapter 14, verse 26. Matthew 14:26. So look it up, folks, because it says here that when Jesus went out to them walking on the sea, when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. They said, "It's a ghost." They did not say demon. They said ghost. It's very clear in the Greek. It does not say demon. And then, of course, that's one example. Furthermore, if you look on Luke chapter 24, verse 36 through 51, Luke chapter 24, verse 36 through 51. At this time, the disciples were terrified. Jesus had just been crucified, and then Jesus showed up and he appeared to them. And then immediately it says here, they were frightened and terrified because they thought they were seeing a ghost. That's what it says. But Jesus said to them, "Why are you so frightened? Why do you doubt? Look at my hands and feet and see who I am. Touch me and find out for yourselves." And he said, "Ghosts don't have flesh and bones as you see I have." Why is that important? It's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, Jesus himself acknowledges that ghosts exist. Because if ghosts didn't exist, then Jesus would have said to them, "Oh, guys, please, come on, don't be stupid. Ghosts don't exist." That's what he would have said. But he didn't say that. He said, "Ghosts don't have flesh and bones as you see that I have." Furthermore, that also tells us that they had the concept, they had the idea, they had the knowledge of ghost, that it was not alien or foreign to them, that they knew or had at least some knowledge. So therefore, we know, based on that logic only, that they were aware of what ghosts were, or at least that they knew that they existed. Because if ghosts didn't even exist, then it wouldn't be in their vocabulary. They wouldn't even have the perception or even the idea of what ghosts were. So culturally speaking, they knew what ghosts were. And it says there, and Jesus made it very clear, ghosts don't have flesh. They don't have bones. That tells us through deductive logic that obviously Jesus acknowledges that ghosts exist. Now, people immediately say, well, he meant demons. That's not what it said. If you look in the Septuagint, the Greek form of New Testament, it's very clear. Demon and this term spirit is two different spelling, two different words. So no, my friends, the idea. No, they weren't referring to the Holy Ghost. Yeah. So therefore, I'm just giving you a heads up on that. That's a good question. I appreciate the question. That we can see this and we can clearly, he acknowledged it. They knew, they had the idea of ghost. And so therefore, if they have the idea, then it certainly had to been cultural. They were all aware. They all thought it was a ghost. That's what it says. Okay. But, well, I mean, I don't know about bones and all that other stuff. We can argue that they're spirits, but I'm just referring to what Jesus said in Scripture. Ghosts don't have bones and flesh, as you see that I have, which implies obviously that otherwise, like I said, if ghosts don't exist, then it would not have been in Scripture twice. That's number one. It would not have been in Scripture, and it would have said demon, and it did not. All right. So, by the way, We'll get that in just hold on. I promise you, we'll get in just a few more seconds here. The Project Blue Book, for those of you who are not aware of it, sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena increased. And in 1948, the United States Air Force even began an investigation of these reports called Project Sign. Now, Cold War tension was mounting, obviously, and the initial opinion of those involved with the project was that UFOs were most likely sophisticated Soviet aircraft. Although some researchers suggested that they might be spacecraft from other worlds. So obviously it's called ETH and the extraterrestrial hypothesis. But within a year, Project Sign was succeeded by Project Grudge, which in 1952 was itself replaced by the longest lived of the official inquiries into UFOs, Project Blue Book, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, from 52 to 69. Project Blue Book compiled reports of more than 12,000 sightings or events, each of which ultimately identified with a known astronomical, atmospheric, or artificial human phenomenon, so something that they could identify. 2, unidentified. The latter category, approximately 6% of the total, included cases for which there was insufficient information to make an identification. I still think there's something going on. I truly believe. And of course, Area 51. Now, personally, I'm convinced that Area 51 is used for military advancement. And quite honestly, we need to stay away from Area 51. As a matter of fact, you can't even get close to the base, because if you do, then they're going to, it says on the sign, they have a right to shoot you. They have a right to use deadly force. So don't ever cross the boundaries. That would be just saying, you want to get killed. So don't do that. It's that serious. It is really that serious. But then, and there's so many cases of alien abductions and aliens. You just, we don't know. We simply don't know. One of the most famous cases, besides, of course, the Travis Walton case, was, I don't know if you're aware of Barney and Betty Hill. Okay, and then we'll get into demons in just a second. Do yourself a favor. If you don't know the case of Barney and Betty Hill, you might want to check this out. You might want to just check this out. This is from ATI, and it says here, this is my Margaret Margatoff. So in 1969, Berkshire's UFO incident to the eerie tale of Barney and Betty Hill, these alien abduction stories might even make skeptics believe that the truth is out there. So this happened. This is a true story. On September 20th, 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire when they said a bright light came out of the sky. 2 hours later, they were back in their driveway with no memory of what had happened or where they'd been. Now, according to the subsequent reports, the couple had traveled to Ziti Reticuli, or a star system 39 light years from Earth. Betty was even inexplicably able to draw an accurate, detailed map of the sky as seen from that star. Now, this was the first noteworthy alien abduction story in modern history. So their tale captivated a nation that had scarcely heard anything like this before. And in the years that followed, countless other tales of alien and UFO abductions emerged, each containing new details of grotesque, otherworldly creatures. Now, you can, again, argue, but here, this is how it happened. Barney and Betty Hill, they took a spontaneous trip to the White Mountains of New Hampshire in 1961. And as he recounted in John G. Fuller's The Interrupted Journey from 1966, Barney needed a break from his night shift at the post office, while Betty was mentally exhausted from handling state child welfare cases. So these people are, professionals and respected in their field. Now, on the last night of their makeshift honeymoon, the two found themselves in a Vermont diner, ready to make the last dash home to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Now, by leaving at 10 p.m., they plan on arriving at home around 2 a.m. On the road, Betty noticed a particularly bright star, perhaps a planet, in the sky. And when the celestial object began changing its course in an erratic manner, Betty was convinced it was a UFO. Her husband was not. Barney, she said, if you think it's a satellite or a star, you're being completely ridiculous. As the object drew closer, Barney pulled the car to a stop and, gun in hand, got out to investigate. And as he approached the object, Barney saw what he would later describe as a pancake-like disc glowing with a brilliant white light that was about the size of a jet. Fleeing back to his car, he and Betty tried to evade the vessel, but were instead overcome with an intense drowsiness and immediately fell unconscious. The couple pulled into their driveway around dawn, unable to recall what had happened. 2 hours of memory seemed to have been wiped from both of their minds. Now, while Betty was convinced they had encountered a UFO and later reported the sighting to the Air Force, her husband was skeptical. It was only when the couple met psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon for a consultation in December of 1963 that Barney changed his mind. Dr. Simon found both to be suffering from crippling anxiety. Betty in particular manifested hers in the form of repetitive nightmarish dreams. Dr. Simon then put them under hypnosis, which reportedly yielded highly ominous, scary memories. Barney Hill recalled creatures with slanted eyes taking the couple aboard their UFO to conduct experiments on their naked bodies. Barney claimed that the beings took samples of hair, skin, nail clippings, and then a 6-inch long needle was inserted into Betty's stomach. Betty told Dr. Simon that she later asked a being, one of the creatures they knew to be the leader, where they were. It jokingly replied, if you don't know where you are, then there won't be any point in me telling you where I am. Now, during another hypnosis session in 1964, Betty purportedly drew a star map of the sky from memory, as seen from a planet orbiting the star Zeta Reticuli. Now, most shocking above all was that this map was drawn with confounding accuracy, and that Zeta Reticuli lies some 40 light years away from Earth. She would have no idea what this star, what these draw, she would have no idea. It wouldn't be in a book. Betty's nearly spot-on recreation of the stars surrounding an actual star system remains one of the most intriguing aspects of all alien stories ever reported. Ultimately, Barney and Betty Hill's account led the Air Force to launch Project Blue Book, what we just talked about. And some people will immediately, they like to dismiss this story and say that this was under hypnosis. You can lead a person to believe something occurred in their history, but it really didn't. But you're able to do that under hypnosis. However, and people do. So you can create false memories under hypnosis, suggestive false memories, by asking leading questions. So when you were abducted and you saw these aliens, tell me what happened. So you're planting that thought in their mind under hypnosis that they were abducted. So it's suggestive. However, that does not describe and it does not explain how Betty would know this star system, and you can't look up in the sky and see it. It's 40 light years away. So therefore, for her to be able to draw this with complete accuracy would mean that she would have to have had some type of ability to go to a massive satellite or not, but telescope that could actually see this, but she wouldn't have access to that. So the idea of it being suggestive false memory, you had, that's a problem because you can't explain it. I don't know. So you can do false memory. You can create false memory. You can, and that's dangerous, and you shouldn't do it. But that does occur. But in this case, I don't think that was the case. Past lives. I'm gonna do probably next week a story on past lives. Why don't we do that as a topic next week? Because past lives, it's a very, very interesting topic. Very interesting topic. And I'm going to do some serious research on that. So why don't we do that next week? By the way, before we go into our demons and answering questions on demons and paranormal things of this nature, a couple little things I want to let you guys know about. Para-Unity, there's an annual convention, October 22nd, 2022. So for those of you who like going to paranormal conferences, put this on your little calendar. I told them that I would let you guys know about this. October 22nd, 2022, Miami County Fair grounds in Peru, Indiana. Peru, Indiana. So if you're in Indiana, it's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's hosted by Shadow Seekers Paranormal. Vendors are wanted for this event. So if you are a vendor, if you want to sell items, there you go. Booth fees, that's not bad. Booth fees are $25 for one table and $5 each additional table. That's that's actually very cheap. That's very cheap. This, by the way, this is a free admission to the public. And we encourage the meet and greet atmosphere along with making new friends and gaining a better understanding of the paranormal field. And it says, if you are interested in being a vendor, or perhaps maybe if you want to go there and meet people, meet and greet, then you can email them at Shadow Seekers 2019 at gmail.com. So again, this is October 22nd, 2022, Miami County Fair grounds in Peru, Indiana, from 10 to 6. The booths, that's really cheap, are $25 for one table, $5 each additional. And you can email Shadow Seekers 2019 at gmail.com. I might have to email them. I don't want to open it up because I don't want to mess this up. But if anybody has a map, just let me know how far from Kentucky, from Louisville, Kentucky, how far Louisville, Kentucky is to Peru, Indiana. I don't want to open it up because I have so many programs open up. I don't want to crash the system. So just if somebody if you're on your computer, do me a favor, just Louisville, Kentucky. If you Google Louisville, Kentucky to Peru, Indiana, and just let me know how far that is, because I might have to go there. That sounds like an interesting thing. But Shadow Seekers 2019 at 189 miles. Thank you, Jack's Paranormal. Thank you. 180 miles. That's not bad. Yeah, that's about 3 hours or so. I think I might have to. That's not bad at all. Shadow Seekers 2019 at gmail.com. I might head on over there. By the way, also, I will be at this event. This is the event I will be in, and I want to let you guys know about this. I'm really looking forward to this. October 7th through the 9th this year. October 7th through the 9th. It is the Belmont Inn in Abbeville, South Carolina. October 7th through the 9th this year. And I will be giving a lecture on demonology and the dangers therein. So I'll be doing my presentation. And it's October 7th through the 9th. And the Belmont Inn in Abbeville, South Carolina. All right. So if you want to check that out, I'm sure they'd love to have you there. You can kind of go. I'm trying to, I don't see a contact phone number there, but I will be, I'll let you guys know. I have a poster, but I'll let you guys know all the details here pretty soon. It's called Upstate Spirit Conference. Upstate Spirit Conference. Let me just, Upstate Spirit Conference. Type that in. Now you can go on Facebook. And I just typed in Upstate Spirit Conference. That's what I typed in. And it was the first, the Facebook page. So you can go there and check it out. October 7th to the 9th. So check it out. I'm sure they would love for you to be there. And one more thing, and then we're going to jump into demonology. David Long, no relation, but David Long asked me if I would pass this on to you guys. And he says, would you mind mentioning our team and services? That what they are is a West Tennessee Paranormal Society. And the reason is it's important to let you guys know about the West Tennessee Paranormal Society because they cover West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and Southwest Kentucky. This is very important. Their services are absolutely free and they are confidential. So they will investigate if you have some issues going on in your home and you need help and you need someone coming to investigate to try to debunk. This is what I like to do. I don't run around chasing ghosts. I like when someone tells me they have some issues going on in their home, what I do is go to their home and try to debunk it. Try to explain logically. This is what's going on in your home. This is why things are going bump in the night. This is why you're hearing the strange noise. This is why. I never consider demons as a first answer. Never. That's the last thing that I even consider. I try to debunk everything. So the West Tennessee Paranormal Society, if you want to check them out on the web, westtennesseeparanormal.com. And again, they are free. They do not charge, and they keep your cases confidential, which means they're not immediately going to go on YouTube and start pushing, oh, look at this house, look what these people did. I don't work with people like that. westtennesseeparanormal.com. Okay? Yep. So have I ever debated Christianity versus Islam? No. I don't think it's necessary to debate people who of a different faith. And I really don't. And here's why. Everybody has a right. Matt's asking, have I ever debated Christianity versus Islam? Everyone has a right to believe in whatever they want to believe. Everybody has that right. And I acknowledge and I respect people's right to believe in whatever they want, as long as they're not hurting themselves or hurting other people. Does it necessarily mean that I agree? Well, no. But it doesn't mean that I have a right to shove my faith down anyone's throat, because that's not Christianity. It's not. Now, if someone comes to me and they talk to me and they want my opinion on it, I'll be happy to give it to them. But I think we've had enough of people shoving their faith down people's throats and condemning other people to the fiery pits of hell. If you don't believe in what I believe or this person believes, you know what? It's hard enough living life day by day. It is. It's hard enough doing that. I don't have a right to judge anybody. I don't have a right to condemn anybody. That is not my place. So for me, I respect people's right to believe in what they wish. I don't have to agree with it, just as they don't have to agree with what I believe. My beliefs, in some people's perspectives, are very conservative. Some people think that I'm very liberal. You can think whatever you want. I'm never going to tell you what I think liberal. I'm not going to ever tell you if I'm liberal. I'm not going to ever tell you if I'm conservative. I will never tell you what I think politically. It'll never happen. And the reason being is because I want anybody and everybody to feel comfortable to speak to me, regardless of your political affiliation. It's not my job to shove my political views down anyone's throat any more than it is my job to shove my faith down anyone's throat. I will talk about Christ, certainly do. And I'm absolutely deeply in love with my faith. But I think there are better ways to have a conversation than arguing and yelling and condemning. To me, that just doesn't, I have no desire for that. So, but I appreciate the question. By the way, Days of Our Lives, if you guys watch Days of Our Lives, I don't watch but for those of you who watch Days of Our Lives, it's that soap opera. Brian Dattilo, for those of you who might know who Brian is, I don't. Days of Our Lives, Brian Dattilo recalls his alien abduction while under hypnosis. All right. This is from soaps.sheknows.com. So if you know this guy, Brian Dattilo, for Days of Our Lives, well, he said this. Listen to this. The Days of Our Lives, while Days of Our Lives, Lucas is off gallivanting with his ex-turn, captive turn, current love. Sammy, his portrayer, Brian Dattilo, has been delving into the paranormal. Now, as he lays out on his new podcast, Conspiracies, Inc., the actor plans to tackle the alien conspiracy, the alien cover-up, the alien controversy, everything alien. We're going to tackle this first season, end quote. And that includes his own alleged alien abduction. Now, as Dattilo explained in Soap Opera Digest, his experience with the paranormal goes back to the house he grew up in. And there, he had a premonition of a murder, saw his mother astral project, and witnessed a John Lennon album flip over when the musician died. Now, while the actor has been researching the topic since his early teens, perhaps his most impactful experience occurred just as he was cast on Days of Our Lives. Serving as the basis for the second episode of his podcast, Dattilo undergoes hypnosis to better remember the abduction he believes happened at the time in 1993. So if you're interested, and if you like the little soap opera people, and you're a fan of his, well, go check it out. I really would like to go do hypnosis. People are immediately going to say, "Oh my gosh, Bishop, you're just well, whatever." I think it would be interesting because I'm skeptical. Here's why. I'm skeptical. I'm very analytical, and I don't know if hypnosis actually is legit. Hear me out. It would be interesting. I would just like to experience that to see if it's actually legitimate. Because for me, I mean, is it meditation? Can you just calm your mind? Well, I can do that by myself. I mean, I don't need. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Anybody can go into deep meditation. I mean, with some practice, and when I'm in deep prayer, that's a form of meditation. When you listen to music, beautiful music, you can go into deep contemplation, meditation. I don't know if that's hypnosis. I don't know. You've seen those things. Have you ever seen these hypnotic professionals? I don't know what they call them, but they have these people on the set, on stage. Have you ever seen this? And the person it puts these people under hypnosis, and then they start barking like a dog, or they do things that they normally would never do. And allegedly, they say they have no memory of it. Now, it's interesting because I did see something that made me really scratch my head on America's Got Talent. I don't know if you've ever seen this. But America's Got Talent, it's a great show. I mean, and there I saw something that I thought I can't. This doesn't make sense. Howie Mandel is a extreme germaphobe. I mean, extreme, and he even says it. He even admits this. But it's pretty bad. It's really bad, and he even says it's bad. He'll never shake anybody's hand ever. He even talks about this. He talks about it publicly. But one time there was an episode where this person who does hypnosis, he put Howie Mandel under this hypnotic trance, and Howie shook people's hands under him. I mean, he came to. I mean, he was like Howie Mandel, but he was shaking people's hands. No big deal. I mean, it was like, well, yeah, how you doing? And then he said, okay, now I'm going to put you back and you're going to bring you back. And he brought him back. And then he had no memory of it. He had no, that's interesting. That's very interesting to me. I don't know. And Howie, again, this is, people can say, well, they're actors. Howie Mandel, literally, this is a medical condition that he has, and it's extreme. So for him to check it out, it was shaking everyone's hands. That when I saw that, I thought, what? Wait. Something is very strange here. But yeah, check it out. It's Howie Mandel under hypnosis on America's Got Talent. And man, I don't know. Here's a good question. If you can hypnotize someone, can you use ability that we never had? The whole hypnosis thing, I would love to learn more about that. I really would, because the mind, we don't understand. We truly don't. We only understand 10% of the mind. We just simply don't understand so much of the brain that we just, it's a mystery. And I don't know. How can you put Howie Mandel, who is an extreme medically, it's a medical condition for his germaphobe, and then all of a sudden going around shaking everybody's hand. I don't know. Oh, Patricia Bishop, if you can come to Alabama, we'll take you back to the Space Center. My two adult nieces. Oh, I went to Huntsville, Alabama. That's where I went to space camp. Well, Matt's asking a good question. I wonder if hypnosis could treat mental illness. Well, we do. People do. They go under hypnosis for several things: weight loss, stop smoking. You have chocolate or whatever it might be, cravings. So there's a lot of people that go under hypnosis to try to help with that. Some people have good results. Some people have amazing results. Other people don't. But I don't know. But I would like to know. I would like to know more about that because it is interesting. I would love to speak to someone who may be an expert in hypnosis. Maybe we do that on the show. Oh, yes, I certainly do. P-A-C-H, Paco Pacho. Do I believe in black magic voodoo? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, one of the cases that I worked, I had her on the show. I had her daughter on the show, Angie, on the show. One of the worst cases I've ever worked in my life was an incubus case. And she was an elderly woman. It was horrible what she endured. And I tried to figure out where this started, how it started. And the only thing that I can think of is the Santeria. That is the only way that she didn't do it. She never did anything to invite. And Angie was on the show, and that was her daughter, and she talked about the case and talked about what her mom endured. But that's the only thing we can come up with is Santeria. That was a terrible, terrible, terrible case. Very, very terrible. Yeah. ERT Radio, if you are skeptical, would that derail your debunking of the practice? ERT, that's a good question. I'm very open-minded. So when I enter into something like this, I try to put all of my biases. I really do everything that I can. I put them on like, for example, if I'm trying to learn about hypnosis and if it's legitimate or not, I put that to the side. I go with a complete open mind to learn, like a blank canvas. And then based on the experience and the information, and then I gather, because it's okay to be skeptical, but the jury is out. So I haven't concluded. I haven't made an absolute, I don't believe it or I do believe it. I don't know. And so for me, when I'm trying to learn something, I don't want to go in with biased thought, because that could taint, obviously, the conclusion, what I conclude. But I try to walk into a situation open-minded, and, whatever happens, happens. Yeah. I don't speak to Dean Christie, but I love Dean Christie. They were great people. They were really, really fantastic people. By the way, for those of you who are in this area, Paranormal Tours, this is from wrex.com. wrex.com. Paranormal Tours are returning at a historic Rockford building. It's a beautiful home. Good grief. This is in Rockford. WREX, for over 50 years, a Tinker Swiss Cottage has stood the test of time, being one of the last Swiss-style homes in the United States, although no one has actually lived there for almost a century. It is a hot spot for paranormal activity, according to this site here, providing decades of chilling experiences. Quote, "We see shadows. We've caught movement behind doors," said Sarah Bowker, investigator for Midwest Ghost Investigators. "Not knowing what lies around the corner, we've had cold presence and we've had people get touched. That's not good," said Bowker, sometimes leaving visitors in shock. Quote, "We've had people run out of here," said Bowker. Now, that's only a taste of what you can expect this Saturday when Tinker Swiss Cottage's paranormal tours to the state line. Built in 1869 by Rockford entrepreneur Robert Tinker, the spirits of the Tinker family lived on this historic building, and so does their livelihood. And so you come through the house, you'll see their furniture, their clothing. That's pretty cool. I would just go there just for the history of it. You see their clothing, their dishes. Samantha Hochman, executive director at Tinker Swiss Cottage. So you can Google Tinker Swiss Cottage. The murals on the walls are still the murals they had. Oh, that's pretty cool. Ghost investigator Sarah Bowker once encountered the spirit of a family made in the basement. It's something she says is hard to forget. So we both looked up the stairs, and from the back of her head all the way down to her feet, you saw a black dress. That's pretty impressive for a full body apparition. We said we grabbed each other and screamed because we were so excited. But there's no need to feel scared. The Tinker family are known to be friendly to their guests. Now, worst case scenario is you come out, see some clips, hear some good ghost stories, and have a good laugh at the end of the night, said Hochman. Now, the thrill of the paranormal. So the paranormal tour at Tinker Swiss begins at 7 p.m. Saturday, and tickets cost $20 for members and $25 for non-members. I'm trying to see exactly where this is, but I don't see it. But you can look it up. Tinker Swiss Cottage, Tinker, Tinker Swiss Cottage. And check it out. And if you want, I would just love to go for the history, not so much for the ghost stuff, but just really for the history. And by the way, Colorado, love Colorado. Man, I love Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful place. I went there, I guess it was a couple of years ago now, and I went on the Rocky Mountains. Actually, went in the mountains. And I definitely was in my mind hearing John Denver. No question about that. By the way, and for this is a really cool site from Greeley Tribune, GreeleyTribune.com. So Greeley-based paranormal investigators offer spine-tingling service to Colorado communities. If you're in Colorado, paranormal enthusiasts can take classes and tag along on investigations. Be careful with that, though, folks. Be careful about fans of the supernatural and luck with addition of 2 paranormal investigators to the Greeley community. Now, in November, Adrienne Hart and her fiance, Zach Clayton, moved to Greeley and brought their business and hobby along for the ride. The couple is a part of things, which stands for the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society. Now, in 2009, a man in Fort Wayne, Indiana, formed the paranormal group to help people who believed in spirits or in their home and businesses. Since then, Things, that's the name, has become a network of teams across the United States, with Hart and Clayton taking on Colorado investigations. So you can take a look at that. Here's what I'm a little okay. When it comes to paranormal investigating, I'm very concerned with investigators going out and investigating and putting themselves in danger. There are a lot of people who like to go investigate, especially places that are known to be demonic. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. Please don't do this. I know people are interested in seeing something. They're interested in experiencing it. Do you realize that experience can have severe long-term consequences? It can have severe long-term consequences. I work with paranormal investigators because if we have someone who calls us and says, "Look, Bishop Long, I need your help. My clergy won't help me," and we know that there's something going on in this home and we can't explain it, please help. We will send a team out to go and investigate, because I can't go everywhere in the United States. So we'll send a team out in the area. They're professionals, respectful, they're courteous. They try to debunk. Not everything is demonic, for the love of God. It drives me crazy that teams are immediately going in people's home. Oh, it's a demon. It's a demon. Oh, you have a demon. And it's like, oh, shut up. So when did you learn demonology? Well, when did you study it? Just because you watch a video on YouTube or you watch something, a paranormal show, that doesn't make you a knowledgeable person on demonology. So stop with this everything is a demon crap, because it's not true. It's absolutely not true. And then what you do is you scare the hell out of these people who truly are terrified as it is. And now someone comes in, oh, it's a demon. It's a demon. I literally had somebody go into a family, a single mom who was terrified because she had activity. She had activity. And a person walked into her home, no knowledge on demonology, but all passing themselves off as they're an expert in the field, that they know everything about demonology. They've been training all their life. No, they didn't. They watched a YouTube video. Then they went in and told this mother that you have a demon in your home and a demon wants to kill your children. That is what this person told the single mom of a couple kids, and now she is terrified. She doesn't know what to do because these people are not offering any type of resolution except for giving her some crystals and saying, whoa, shake it around and tell the demon to go. The demon doesn't give a rat's behind about your little crystal. Are you kidding? Come on. But that's what's happening. So now they're terrifying these people, and then they call me and they say, now we have major problems. I've also had the situation. I'm telling you, this is, guys, I do this. I have thousands of requests every single week asking me to help them. I'm getting the phone calls. I'm getting the emails. I'm telling you what's happening. Just recently, a team went out to a single mom, and activity was occurring in their home. Now, she was scared. This team had a psychic, and I believe that there are people who are gifted, but this psychic is as psychic as my phone. This psychic went in and immediately said, oh, you have a demon. You have at least 4 or 5 demons. Maybe you have legions of demons, and this demon has marked your child. Now, this person has terrified this single mom, terrified her to a point where she was on the phone with me and sobbing and crying because she didn't know how she was going to protect her child, because she was legitimately hearing bangings in the wall. It was scary. And this psychic who charged $400, I have my collar on, so I'm trying to take a step back and not say the words that I actually want to say, because this makes me so mad. This truly makes me so mad that someone who's a fraud would charge this single mom who's struggling to put food on the table, this person. It really bothers me. You don't do this to people. You don't do this to people. So this mother was terrified, and I'm on the phone with her, and she's crying. This mother's sobbing, and I'm trying to calm her down just to be able to get information from her. She's that type of crying because she's fearful, because this idiot fraud who charged $400 and immediately saying demon, and the demon wants to kill your child, walks away, tells her to shake a little crystal around. So she contacts me, and I'm spending 30 minutes, 45 minutes just to kind of calm her down from hyperventilating. So I go out to her home. I drive 3 hours to get there. as soon as I get there, she grabs a hold of me and she's shaking. She is shaking. And I'm trying to be very pastoral and not lay into this fraud psychic. And so I calm her down. I have a team that's there with me. I meet this team. We go into her home. We're not there hocus pocus and, oh, is there a ghost here? Did you hear that? And all that crap. We're going in there to try to investigate if there's high EMF reading that could cause delusion, sickness. We're trying to find out what's going on. We're trying to find out what's causing the banging in these walls. So thankfully, there was a person who was knowledgeable in HVAC system and plumbing and things of this nature. So after they did something, they found the tubing and all this other stuff. It was a pipe. There are pipes that were too close, and there's something, I forgot what it is, something on the pipe on the siding or something that when it comes on, it'll rattle like this. And so they were able to fix this with a very simple foam thing. I don't know. I don't know the terminology, but he put a little foam around these pipes and the banging stopped. They stopped. And this lying, shameful of a fraud human being who walked into this woman's house with 2 small babies had the audacity to charge this single mom $400 and had the nerve to sit here and tell her that the demon wants to kill her. If you are watching, which I don't think you are, but if you fraud of a human being, you will have to answer to God for this. And he will not be laughing. You don't take advantage of people, period. And you sure in the hell don't take advantage of a single mom with 2 babies and charge her $400 and come in and act like you're Miss Demonologist. Jackass. And don't sit there and tell me don't cuss. I'll block your ass out of here so fast. You better, okay, I'm just, again, that irritates me. It really gets, you might as well, it makes me mad. It really makes me mad when people take advantage of people. I just don't like it. I don't like when people take advantage of the innocent. And if you would understand, you would be just as angry and probably even more angry than I am, because I literally, when I showed up, this poor woman just grabbed me and she was shaking. She was shaking. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. I contacted the psychic. And I informed the psychic that I have over 6,000 followers on TikTok. And if I ever find out that this dirty, low-life, egg-sucking dog does this again, I will post her name. That is a warning. Okay. I got to listen to John Denver. I've got to listen to John Denver, I tell you. But it just really makes me mad. I just yeah. Anyway. So anyway, that's the story behind that. You can say whatever you can think whatever you want to about me. You can, whatever. I don't care. But one thing I don't like is people taking advantage of others. I just don't. So anyway, here we go. Now you explain all that. Can you tell me what's standing in my house, mocking my voice? I don't know. Iggy, now that you've explained all that, can you tell me what's standing in my house, mocking my voice? I have no idea. I'd have to see if you have evidence. I would have to find out what's going on. I don't know. I don't know. It's impossible for me to answer that question because people immediately want to say immediately demon, 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 demon. Well, I don't go there because I haven't investigated, and so therefore, if I'm not investigated, I can't. Plus, let's be honest, and Iggy, I don't know you. I don't know, and please don't put this on Iggy. Don't answer this question. But I don't know what medication you're on. There are some medications that can cause you to hallucinate. There are some medications that can cause you to hear things and see things that are not there. So there's so many. There's so much going on behind. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not trained in the medical field, but I would have, anyone who tells me that they're hearing demons or seeing demons or anything like this, I always want to know, okay, what medications you're on. Then I talk to somebody who's medically trained on the team and say, hey, look, this is the medication. Is there any type of, a side effect on any of these medications? So demons are the last thing that I consider. They are not the first thing. I am a skeptic. If someone tells me that a television was flown across the room and they are adamant about it, I will not call them a liar, but I will say, okay, I understand that you believe that a television was thrown across the room. Unless I see it, I'm not going to validate it. And I'm not going to tell you that it did, because I can't tell you that it did because I wasn't there. And I'm not going, here's why. If someone, and I'm not saying Iggy or anybody else in here, but if someone has a mental illness, I'm not going to feed into that psychosis. I'm not going to feed into that because that would be doing damage to the person's mental health. And that's disturbing. You don't do that. I'm not trained in psychology. So I don't want to say, oh, television went across the room. Well, tell me more. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to feed into this because I don't want to feed into that because it may be a complete illusion. It may be something that's manifested through a mental illness or prescription or medicine. So I don't do that. I will write it down. I will take note of it, but I will not acknowledge it happened or did not because I wasn't there. I didn't see it. And this is what you're right, Daniel. The demonic guys, I've said this before. I've done this for 20 years. Oh man, for some reason. Well, now it's not showing how many emails I have on my email. 9,221. I have 9,221 emails in 1 week. Emails. Over 12,000 messages on TikTok. Over 700 messages on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I don't know how many on YouTube and Twitter. The point is I've been doing this for 20 years. And there's a lot of people who tell me that they're possessed. Lots of people. I have performed 30 documented exorcisms on people who were validly possessed. 20 years. I have 9,000 emails in 1 week. Possession is rare. It does not happen all the time. The idea that possession, it does not happen all the time. It simply doesn't. So now I have found that there is a, demonic attachment that does occur, and I have seen, I have not seen an increase in possession, but I have seen an increase in a report in demonic activity. But as far as validating, I'm not going to make a statement unless I can back it up with my data. So oppression, yes. Now keep in mind, a deliverance is not an exorcism. A deliverance is a prayer that is prayed over an individual to remove an attachment from that person. That person is under demonic oppression and demonic obsession or malevolent spirit. And that person is being oppressed. You then pray over that person to remove the attachment. That is not an exorcism. The solemn rite of exorcism is performed on an individual who has already undergone the stages of oppression, and now their intellect and will is eradicated, and now they are possessed. So a lot of people are getting oppression and deliverance confused with the solemn rite of exorcism. They are not the same thing. You have the minor rite of exorcism, and that is a prayer that is performed on a demonic entity or malevolent spirit that has infested itself within a home. You do not perform an exorcism on a building. That doesn't exist. It's impossible. You perform on an exorcism on a demonic entity that has infested itself within that home. You bless the home. You don't exorcise the home. That's absurd. That is the minor rite of exorcism. When someone has an attachment, let's say you're a paranormal investigator, you go to a place that you shouldn't go to, and you say this: if there's anyone here, can you make a noise? Can you touch me? Folks, that's called that's the invitation. You are inviting whatever is there to make contact with you. That's the invitation that the demonic needs to attach. It attaches itself. You go home. Now you are under what's called, in this case, you have an attachment. It begins to attack you on a physical level, on an intellectual level. It begins to bite you, pinch you, scratch you. It begins intellectually. It's trying to break down the intellect. You begin to hear things and see things. And it's quite terrible. And this is a process that's breaking down your body. It's breaking down your will. Your immune is compromised. You are at a very weakened state. We're talking past sleep deprivation. When the intellect and will is eradicated, then the demonic can possess the body. At that stage, then you have the solemn rite of exorcism. So a deliverance is prayed over a person that is in the stage of attachment when it's attacking your intellect and will. It's very, very critical stage, because you want to remove that attachment before it gets into possession. Okay? Yeah, it's pretty serious. It's very, very serious. And yeah, you have to stay away from that. You have to stay away. It's too dangerous to start playing around with this. Okay, I think we have Bill. Have how many more minutes do we got, Bill? Oh. Yeah. Oh, shoot. We're 1 minute. Okay, folks. Well, for those of you who are on Spreaker, I'm going to have to say God bless you guys and have a beautiful, beautiful evening. And for everybody else, we got to wrap it up. TikTok, I'll be with you guys in just a second. Remember, I always tell you, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. By the way, this Monday, I'm going to be starting a brand new show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we just kind of sit around and just have a conversation. Everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, God bless, and we'll see you on Monday. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the paranormal course link.